you ever been in a situation where you're having great conversations with your team and everything seems to be going well, apart from traction and momentum? And it's like wheels are spinning. People are focused, they're doing their best, but they're not getting that momentum that they're desiring. So welcome to episode 5. Episode 5 of our Future Focus conversation is all around building momentum. It's all around the achievement piece that we're wanting. And the challenge when there's a lot of change going on is actually keeping up that momentum and that traction. So what Sarah and I are hearing so much at the moment is from people that where they're having and where they're really struggling is around that traction and that momentum piece. And it's because so much change is going on. Now, when we focus and we focus on the actual right things, what happens then when we focus on the right things, we create that momentum, we create that drive, because the clarity of focus is absolutely spot on. So when we actually are in that mindset and we're following through with our teams and we're focusing on the achievement, they get that sense of winning. So remember, when we focus on the right things, we get the right results, we get that drive, we get that traction, and we get that momentum. So here are some proactive tips that we would like you to go away with and implement.
And one of the first areas we want to talk to is around ensuring we've got conversations that count. And what we mean by that is focusing on the what's in it for me, but not me as the manager. It's actually about the person that you're sitting in front of having that conversation with. And without losing those interpersonal relationships we have with the person we're talking to, it's about making sure our conversations are really targeted and on point. And they're more than just so how are you doing, how's it all going? But actually, when we're talking to our people, we're making sure that each word counts just as it did when we were setting up the goals. So making sure the questions we're asking are really relevant and targeted and specific to whatever the need is for that individual. So other factors we've got to remember is we've got our goals that we've set up, but actually keeping those checkpoints in between the goals. So booking in appointments to make sure that we're able to keep on top and help supporting the person with their goals. And it's not just about booking those appointments, it's actually about keeping them. So often we shift meetings and we're like, can we just do this later? Can we just do it later? And sometimes they don't happen. Really important to keep them. And during those conversations, discuss any key learnings to date or any feedback that might have been gained in that process. These are all key stages to that person in terms of them achieving their goals. We also have to remember when we're having the conversations, the pace the person's working at when they're trying to achieve those goals. Some of our people will be racing through and potentially setting themselves up for burnout if they're working on too many things in those goals or too many goals at one time. On the other end of the scale, we could have somebody that just doesn't have that momentum and they might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. During those conversations, it can be really useful to reflect back with them on work that they've done really well, showing them how they've done that work really well, and then how it can apply to the current goal that they're working on. And always in our conversations, asking that really important question, how can I help with that?
And when you're asking, how can I help with that, it really shows that the person you're speaking to, that you truly genuinely care and you want to make actually a difference for them and what the goals that they're setting. And Sarah, I really love that piece about, making sure we hold those meetings when we have them, because when we keep moving them, all we're doing is signaling to that person that everything else is more important than them. So here we go. Here's 3 proactive tips to build on what Sarah's just mentioned. These tips are going to help you bring down that sense of overwhelm, both for yourself and for your team. So here goes. Here's proactive action number 1 is all around taking that 90-day plan and working through with your team member and breaking that down into 7, 14 and 21-day actions. Now, when we actually take a 90-day goal or 90-day plan and we bring it down into 7, 14 and 21-day plans, all of a sudden we get clarity. We also get that decrease in overwhelm because all of a sudden the stretch between the current situation and that first step then the next step is actually a manageable stretch. So take it back down, 7, 14 and 21. My second action that I really want to focus on is when you have it down into 7, 14, 21, you need to focus on what are the behaviours and the habits and the routines that the person is doing right here, right now, and what you're doing as a leader right here, right now. Because remembering, we're shaping the future as of today. So everything that we do is setting ourselves up for that future achievement. And the third part, you've heard it before with Sarah and I, and you just can't underestimate it. And that is that sense of celebration. It's really celebrating all those tiny wins along the way. Those 3 proactive tips will help you increase drive, increase motivation, and get more traction and focus with your future focus conversations and focusing on the right results.
We really hope you've enjoyed our 5-part series, and our challenge for you for this week is to implement the tips that we've shared. So the first one is around creating those conversations that matter. So what's in it for me, but not what's in it for me as the manager, as the individual that you're talking to. Chunking down those goals, as Kirsten's talked about, creating an environment for how our behaviours can be groomed so that we're as successful as we can be, and the all-important celebrating those successes, no matter how big or small that they are. And when we focus on what matters, with both our goals and our communication, we can genuinely keep the momentum and the energy needed to achieve results for everybody.